here we have the inside track of BJP's game plan. The BJP won't go to the governor. This is what sources tell us in the latest, that the BJP will not go to the governor as yet. The BJP plus the Shinde plus independents at this point stand at 168. So that's well past the majority mark of 143. Clearly the BJP in alliance with Shinde camp and a bunch of independents, this NDA alliance will now stand at 168. The BJP very possibly could stake claim in the days to come, anytime soon. It's very likely that they could possibly approach the governor. But for now, that doesn't seem like the plan. The BJP won't go to the governor at this moment. Let me cut across to Paulami for more on that. Paulami, even though the BJP with the Shinde camp, along with those independents, can boast of 168 MLAs, well past the majority mark of 143, yet we hear that they're not ready to go to the governor as yet. What's setting them back? Paulami, if you can hear me.
Well, Nabila, the BJP doesn't want to initiate the process of what looks like the fall of the MVA government. They might have been somewhere behind the curtains, but they don't want to come to the forefront and say that we're the ones saying that this government is in minority. Why don't you call them for a floor test and have them prove their numbers? They want the others in this, in the fray to actually, in fact, call for a floor test. That could possibly be the Shinde faction. That could possibly be others who could suddenly emerge and seek, in fact, the possibility of a floor test from the governor, or the governor himself could suo moto say, I've seen media reports, it appears to me that this government doesn't have the numbers, come forward to the floor of the assembly and prove your numbers. That is an option that the Supreme Court has hinted at, in fact, in yesterday's proceedings in the court as well. But the BJP has categorically denied that we will be going to the governor. We are not going to the governor. Currently, what we understand from the Eknath Shinde camp is that they're seeking legal advice. Remember, there are cases against 16 of their rebel MLAs that are pending in the Supreme Court. It's an interim order that has come, a stay on disqualification proceedings till the 11th of July. So they have to think forward in terms of legal proceedings. They're currently seeking legal advice as well, sitting down with lawyers, in fact, as we speak. And we've been told by our sources that within the next 2 to 4 days, you will know for sure where this is headed and who exactly approaches the governor. There will be clarity, and as far as possibly getting absolute clarity, by the end of the week, it will be very clear who exactly approached the governor, and the governor, of course, calling for a floor test subsequently, because that is going to be the case. That is a step we can preempt, because if there is anybody who approaches the governor and says that this government is in minority, he will have to call for a floor test in order for the government to, of course, prove its majority and its numbers on the floor of the House. Then what we are being told by our sources is that currently, as the numbers look, as they do the math, MVA, which is the Shiv Sena plus the NCP, the Shiv Sena led by Uddhav Thackeray, plus the NCP, plus the Congress, plus 2 of the MIM, 2 of the Shiv Sena, and some of the others that they have in their support right now, stand at 117. BJP plus the Eknath Shinde faction plus others, not just independents, plus others, because there are smaller parties that have come on board as well. Simply with the Eknath Shinde faction, you can say that the Prahar Jan Shakti party is with the Eknath Shinde faction, and 2 of the MLAs are right inside Hotel Radisson Blu inside me. So BJP plus Eknath Shinde faction plus others stand at 168 as per their calculation right now, well past the halfway mark of 143 in an assembly of 285 as it stands right now.
You know, Paulami, from what we hear is that the Shinde camp also strategizing on their own. Stay with us. This is the big news that we have here. An inside track of Shinde camp strategy at this point. Likely they will ask for a floor test, and a floor test will be likely under the Deputy Speaker. Shinde Sena won't abstain during the floor test. Shinde Sena will not merge with any other party, and the Shinde Sena won't split once in Mumbai. This is, of course, a very favourable scenario to Uddhav Thackeray if at all it pans out this way. But this is the inside track that we get of the Shinde camp strategy at this point. A floor test likely under the Deputy Speaker. The Shinde Sena won't abstain during the floor test, and the Shinde Sena will not merge with any other party, and the Shinde Sena won't split once in Mumbai. So this is exactly what the hopes Uddhav Thackeray will have, that he will be able to bring the Shinde Sena back to their fold, and that they won't split, they will be united, they will not have to merge with any party. Paulami, the Shinde Sena also coming out with different strategies, and it appears for Uddhav Thackeray, the likely scenario would be that the Shinde Sena return to their fold. They join the party under the leadership of Uddhav Thackeray and maybe pull out from the alliance of the Mahavikas Aghadi, but enter an alliance with the BJP formally. They don't have to merge with the BJP, but as Shiv Sena itself, as a full party, can join the BJP. How possible is that scenario?
Well, Nabila, I couldn't catch the entire question. Is it about the merger possibility as far as the Eknath Shinde faction is concerned?
We're looking at different scenarios, Paulami, at this point. Different scenarios that the Shinde camp could play out. At this point, one possibility is that they face the floor test and don't abstain. If they don't abstain, in fact, they will be voting on the floor of the House, and that will be done under the Deputy Speaker. They won't abstain from voting, and therefore the party will not split. The Shiv Sena will be together. That's a scenario that one can imagine may just pan out. What do you think is the possibility of it?
Well, Nabila, a couple of things that you touched upon over there. What we've learned from our top sources within, of course, the Eknath Shinde camp and the Bharatiya Janata Party, we've been speaking across both sides and, of course, to others as well to get a holistic picture of what exactly is the game plan. One, they're not going to abstain from voting. They will vote. So those reports have been denied that the Eknath Shinde camp, just because they don't want to attract any sort of action because there is a grey area around the disqualification proceedings, etc., etc. Whether they are a separate party, not separate unit, not etc., etc. They could possibly abstain from voting. We've been categorically told no, they will vote in a floor test, and that's exactly why they went ahead and sought a stay on their disqualification proceedings. And as far as merger possibilities are concerned, completely dismissed. They're not going to merge with anyone. Also, there were reports during the rounds, Nabila, you may have caught on to some of those reports which said that there is a possibility Eknath Shinde faction could merge with the Maharashtra Navnirman Sena, the Raj Thackeray-led MNS. Again, completely dismissed as baseless. Absolutely baseless. The question of merger, so to say, has been completely dismissed at the moment, is what we are being told. What we are being told categorically and defiantly by the Eknath Shinde camp is that we are the real Shiv Sena. It's not about two-thirds of the legislative party being with us. The fact is, Eknath Shinde continues to be the leader of the legislative party, because if he's chosen by 55 MLAs of the Shiv Sena as leader of the legislative party, how do 14 of them get together and decide he's no longer leader of the legislative party and Ajay Chaudhary is 14? Were the total at that point of time, 2 of them have in fact since come and joined Eknath Shinde. So a minority faction cannot decide if Eknath Shinde cannot be the leader of the legislative party. What he needs is the backing of 50% plus 1. That is the formula. 50% plus 1 of the legislative party needs to be behind him. And he stays the leader of the legislative party if that is what 50% plus 1 decide. And that is exactly the number that he has right now. So he is the Shiv Sena, the real Shiv Sena, as he also, of course, tweets using the hashtag real Shiv Sena wins. So that is the claim that is being made as far as the party is concerned, the symbol is concerned, the party name is concerned, etc.
Yeah,
that's a battle that will be fought out.
From what we see here, the inside track coming in from Shinde Sena and their strategy is that they will face the floor test. That's what we hear from the Shinde camp, that they will likely face the floor test under the Deputy Speaker. They will not abstain from voting, and they will stay united. That the merger is impossible. They will stay united, will not merge with another party, and will also vote on the floor of the House. So it seems like the Shinde Sena at this point, while they're strategizing, are very confident that they will be able to prove their strength on the floor of the House and possibly be recognized as a separate faction, a rebel breakaway faction of the Shiv Sena, and they will vote on the floor of the House most definitely, will not abstain. That's what we hear from the Shinde camp.